Welcome back, legends. I hope you're all fantastic. Today, we're checking out the SONY DPS-M7 sonic modulator. Yeah, SONY. I didn't really know that they made kind of rack mount effects for guitar players and keyboard players and studio musicians. I think I just always think of SONY as, they made VCRs when I was a kid, and now they make the PlayStation and a bunch of other stuff. But for a while, they made stuff for guitar players as well. So this is the modulation focus unit. Basically, it means there's no reverb. There's some basic delays in there, but you've got pitch shifters, choruses or chori, flanger, phaser, ensemble style effects. You've got a really deep sort of parameter set, as well as the ability to just about modulate anything you like in the unit. So it does the bread and butter stuff really well, and you can use it like a preset machine. But once you dive in and start editing deep parameters, you can really do some unique stuff with this unit. And the other thing that's really cool as well is when you turn it on, look at this. Kind of gives you a nice little welcome message as well. Happy birthday, Leon. It's not my birthday today, it's just the first day of the month. I think I did a factory reset on this and named it. So yeah, it thinks it's my birthday. So what a cute little unit. We should probably get in and hear some tones. But before I do, thank you to Mr. Brian Hook for sending this one out. I've been so curious about this one, and I think you're all gonna really, really like this unit. It does some stuff that I think is kind of unique given the time that it came out. Let's go. I'm then going to kick it in on this factory preset number 22, digital dim number 4. This is essentially a recreation of the Roland or Boss dimension style effect. I'm guessing this is the 4th button in. So let's hear this now. Beautiful. And one thing that's great about this is the effects aren't stupidly overblown. It's not a case of like, look how powerful this processor is. It's a case of, hey, this is something you might actually want to use on your guitar, and we're offering it up. So the little menu is telling you that this is using the stereo chorus algorithm. I think there's about 20 different algos in here, including a Deca-Chorus, which I think is just an awesome name for it. So a 10-voice chorus. There's also a band chorus in there. You can see the name, and I guess SONY have laid out like intended applications on it. But a great example is to just not use something on the intended application. Preset number 1, actually, this is using the stereo chorus, but if we take a look under the hood, you can see you've got this modulation block. So that's kind of like your main algorithm. Then you've got 2 pre-effect blocks, a post-effect block. They're like EQs, compressors, noise gates, aural exciters, because this unit comes from peak aural exciter era. And then you've got this envelope generator, which is actually really powerful. And in this case, take a look at it, and let's hit enter. You can see the envelope generator is on. You can select the trigger channel on here. You can set the threshold, all the things you'd expect to do with an envelope. You can actually see there's 20 different parameters, but arranged into 20 pages, which I think is probably the biggest weakness of the unit, and definitely the most frustrating thing is just scrolling through here. It is in the running for maybe the most frustrating UI out of any rack mount effect processor out there. But yeah, basically you got all the envelope parameters in there with this modulation block over here. And we're running a stereo chorus. It's on. You can set, there's a great example of what I was talking about. Chorus, give me rate and depth as the first 2 controls. Maybe give me knobs for them as well. But no, you get frequency scale, then you get depth scale and time scale and LFO frequency. So you kind of get them, but they're just not upfront. So probably going to complain about that a whole lot, but you can see the LFO frequency is at 1.06. You can actually offset the 2 channels in there. I should just let you hear this. This is a gorgeous sound that very much gives you that kind of Rhodesy thing. that envelope generator is basically working like a dynamic trem in there to just give it a little bit of throb. So chorus with some throb on there is always better than chorus. What's cool is I can like offset, if I hit enter down here, the frequency of the second kind of chorus channel on here. So let's maybe bring that one down, and I'll bring the first channel up a little bit. You know, I was complaining about the editing. It takes a little while to get used to, but it's not that bad, but still just some extra knobs would have been really, really awesome on here. So you have 77 parameters organized on 77 pages. Again, talk about inefficiency. Anyway, let's just hear that. You can see there that I can modulate the depth of the chorus. So I think the kind of vibe with this unit is that it really gives you a lot of control over not only just the kind of basic modulation stuff, but you can modulate the modulation. That's really the motto of this particular machine. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how awful the user interface is, but how good this thing sounds. And it's been a really interesting unit to play around with for a couple of days because I've been loving the sounds, but almost just kind of cracking up to myself. It's like, you know what, this unit would probably maybe be a little bit more of a classic unit if the UI was just tweaked a little bit. But again, we're talking about like early 90s in here. So the stuff that it can do was pretty awesome. I do like this little help screen giving me a bunch of tips as well. Let's hear some more effects in here. This panning phaser is really, really cool. Really enjoyable there. What I really like though is this Deca-Chorus, the 10 voice chorus, and I am all over the place at the moment, but let's see, where are we? DCH is what I'm looking for. Here we go. I think it's actually not that one, this Wonder voice. It's designed for vocals and flutes, apparently. How many of your guitar processors have presets for flutes? Really nice chorus, just like the other really nice chori we heard before. There is one in here though, this is like a band chorus that I'm thinking of. We'll hear the flanger in a second. Here it is, Fantasy Space. So it's a 3-phase band chorus, and if you take a look under the hood at the parameters, not only do you have all the usual chorus controls on here, you can set the treble levels and the parametric frequencies on each channel on there. So you have this kind of like 3-band split. It's really interesting. I'll just go back to the main thing and we'll hear this with a clean guitar, but I think it works really well on crunchy guitars just because you can modulate the low, mid, and high bands separately. Pretty unique. so cool. It's almost got a bit of a rotary vibe about it. I guess if you think of a rotary speaker, you've got the horn and you've got the drum, and they can be set at different rates. So this is like a 3-tiered rotary or something like that. Alrighty, let's hear some detune on here. This is the stereo pitch shifter, and there is this just Microshift setup in here. I think it's like plus or minus 10 cents or something, minus 8 and plus 8. So pretty typical stuff in here. I think the detune sounds really, really good. Very smooth, dare I say, eventide-ish in there. I just want to tweak the relative level between the affected signal and the dry signal. So let's just go into the mod menu, shall we? Look, we only have 37 parameters organized across 37 pages on here. What do I want? I want direct level. How do I do this? Direct level sync. Okay, cool. I'm going to turn that one up to 100. And we're going to bring the effect level sync. So sync just means that it's going to work on both channels on here. Let's bring that down to 50-something%. Something around there. That will do. Let's hear it now. The detune on this is absolutely awesome. And what I think is pretty cool as well, the detune delays are really good as well. I just got to remember where they are. And I have absolutely no idea. Actually, I'm an idiot. What I wanted to do was go in here and let's go to the mod menu again. And I'm going to set the pitch delays. I think I can do that in here. I can change the phase, which is pretty cool. Maybe let's just flip the phase and have a listen to that. That's the phase for the pitch modulation. I have a feeling there is no pitch modulation. Direct delay, this is what I want to do. Let's add, I don't know, like how much delay can we have? 300 milliseconds probably? 250 milliseconds. Check it out, some detuned delays. That level needs to come right down to be useful. So where is this direct level? This is so much fun to edit, let me tell you. Let's go to affected level now and just bring that one down a little bit. I'm just going to edit out what I had to do, but I was turning up the direct delay time and not the effect delay time. I'm a moron. This is what we get for detuned delays. That sounds awesome. I did add some feedback in there as well. And of course, you can actually offset the delay amounts on there. So this is the pre-delay parameter. You know, I could do 300 milliseconds-ish on one and 400 milliseconds-ish on another. Get a nice big dual detuned delay on there. Somewhere around here, this will do. It's not perfect, but that's kind of the charm. That is awesome, and again, very eventide-ish. I think if you want the detune thing or the detune delays, this is a good budget alternative to something like an H series. And again, is this really any harder to use than something like an eventide H series? Those things are kind of notoriously difficult. At least you can see what you're doing pretty clearly on this. But let's hear that detune actually with a clean sound. Pretty smooth. What I want to do is this. Let's getting deep into the nerd zone now. I'm having a good time. We'll edit this. I'll go into the pitch shifter. I'm going to set up so separate pitch amounts. Let's go down by 11 and we'll go up by 13. Classic kind of session style detune for all the rack nerds out there. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to add some pitch modulation to it, just a little bit in there. So some kind of, unpredictability to the pitch amounts. And then what we'll do is we will go to the pre-delay and I'm going to add about 10 milliseconds of pre-delay to each voice. Something like that. Whoa, not 50. Way too much. This encoder takes a little while to get going. All right, that'll do. And then I'll actually offset. The other one will bring it down so that it's a few milliseconds. Cool, something like that. Now I've got some modulation on my pitch detune, some delay offsets. We get this. That is such a lush detune. I love that. I love that ability to modify the pitch voices and again, just kind of make it all sound a little more unpredictable and organic, which is one of the things people like about analog style modulation effects, isn't it? That unpredictability. So you can see this thing, you can get really, really deep into and really, really dial in tones that you want. And, I've been complaining about the interface a whole lot, but again, I got to think, the H3000 is something that I absolutely adore, and it is pretty difficult and dense to use as well. But at least you get more than one parameter per page on there. So let's hear some more stuff on this. I'm going to go to, you get some really weird kind of pitch shift things in there. That kind of stuff, which has never really been my bag. What does sparkling crystal sound like? So I think that's using the band pitch shifter on there. Again, really, really cool. Let's hear this one. Not the worst pitch tracking I've ever heard either. What does this one do? I kind of love how just ridiculous that sounds. I want to get into the delays. Actually, there's some really fun ensemble style effects in here. So if you just want like a big, thick guitar sound, think like the symphonic effect in the Yamaha SPX90. I'm curious, what can you edit in this? So we have the modulation section, it's just called Ensemble, and the reason this differs to a chorus effect is probably because there's 122 parameters. So LFO1 frequency, you can offset that. How many LFOs do we have? So there's 2 LFOs in there. You can modulate the, ooh, that's fun. You can modulate the phase. Yeah, that's fun. Depth. What else do we have? Depth modulation. So it looks like this is basically like a two-voice chorus, but you can modulate every parameter independently with different waves. That's crazy. I don't think I have time to get into this right now, but that's a pretty cool sounding chorus. Again, SPX90-ish. Let's hear it with some detuned fill. Oh, that is grease. That really does have that SPX90 symphonic style thing on there. I might just bring the mix down a little bit on it. So again, let's wrestle with this. Look at this, 122 parameters for this ensemble effect. Oh my gosh. I just want right at the end something like effect level. Here we go. Let's just bring that down just a little bit, maybe to about 30% or something like that. Goes 40 to 30 really quickly. Come on. Somewhere around there. Let's hear that riff again. Ridiculous. There's a really cool kind of sample and hold phaser somewhere in here. I think it's coming up. This one, check this out. It's moving around in stereo, and if you're not listening in stereo, you really should. You're missing so much of the magic of this device. That's really, really cool. There's a Neutron style emulation in here. This one works really well in front of a guitar amp, which is not the setup I have at the moment. The flangers, we haven't heard that. Here's a psychedelic flanger. Really, really fun. Sounds sweet, as does everything else on here. I want to get to the delays though. So there is this clean Digiplex echo, which sounds pretty awesome. Check it out. I like that a lot. I love the modulation on it. You've got so many parameters in here to tweak. Again, you can set the individual like chorus rate and depth for each delay voice and modulate those parameters on there. I've actually just gone ahead and tweaked this for my favorite kind of dual, like 300-ish, 400 millisecond-ish delay, dual delay tone. That's what I'm trying to say. I should speak less and play more. favorite delay on here, and I'm so glad that this does delays and not just chorus and detune effects. If it just did that, it would still be pretty awesome, but this is the thing that takes it over the edge, is this spiral delay. Basically, you've got these kind of like band delays with phase offsets, and you can set all the phase offsets and stuff like that, but I just let you hear it. This is one of the most amazing delay presets I've ever heard out of a rack unit. And you know what? For all the magic of like the Lexicon PCM70 circular and pan delays, I might like this a little bit more. That one just keeps on going and going. So let's hear that one in the context of a little track. This is a Midnight Danger song. You should definitely check out this EP if you like synthwave stuff with some awesome guitar. Let's just hear this same spiral delay over some 80s style stuff, because I think that's what it deserves. The other thing that I think this unit does really, really well, and something that kind of sets it apart from other units in its class, aside from all the like in-deep modulating the modulation stuff, is the Rotary sounds pretty good. So here's an example of the Rotary. I really do have to say, more than any other unit that I've tried, maybe with the exception of the Korg A3, this unit has really surprised me more than any other, and it's kind of blown me away. The more time I've spent with it, the more I've learnt the interface, the more I have fallen in love with the sounds on here. There's some really, really unique sounds, like we heard those Rotary sounds, pretty good for a rack unit, but this spiral delay is something super unique, and this is a unit that I really feel I need to spend more time with and actually spend some time programming. There are so many really cool algorithms in here with so many cool parameters, and if you go online and look up the manual for this thing, you can see there's some pretty unique algorithm layouts on there as well. The straight up chorus effects sound fantastic. Some of my favorite rack mount chorus tones ever, especially for a digital unit. Those like dimension style emulations are really sweet. The ensemble effects are really thick, like an SPX90. You've got some very cool modulated panable delays in there, which kind of bring to mind the Lexicon units, and a bunch of stuff that's just really sweet sounding and kind of unique. Again, the whole modifier system and the envelope thing. I didn't even get into the pre and post effects on there. I'm just kind of using that mod block in here. It's a great unit. I love the M7, the DPS-M7, I should say, and I really want to try the other SONY units in this series now, especially the reverb. Clifton Wright has a great video with the reverb, but this is up there for me. This might be one of my favorite rack mount effect units ever. It just doesn't do reverb. I know they did an all-in-one unit, so really keen to check out the reverb and the dedicated delays, but this would probably be one of the units, when people say, hey, I want a single unit rack mount effects that can kind of do all the bread and butter stuff. What should I get? This might be one that I suggest, provided you don't need reverb. And a lot of people don't need reverb. They just want delay and chorus for that kind of thing, and detune. The detune sounds great in here as well. So the main drawback is that interface. I feel like if this was laid out a little bit more like, even a Lexicon PCM81, which I know came out about 10 years later, but what would something that is like contemporary to this be? I don't know. Maybe it's actually okay. What do you all think? Is this something that would drive you mental? It's only driving me. It's only driven me slightly mental, as you can see. I think this means that it's about time for me to play you all out. I do need to say a massive thank you to patron saint of the channel, Mr. Brian Hook, for sending this unit over for me to check out. If you want to support me directly on Patreon, you can sign up using the link in the video description. If you want to buy some Ragdoll music or merch and support the music that I make, that would be awesome as well. There's a link in the video description. You can get some free stuff in the video description, and you can join the Discord server. Give me some more spiral delay. Thank you so much for watching the video. You're all legends. Hope you all have a fantastic day.